Go.
There we go.
Welcome to the Brown Spade Podcast Show. But before we begin, please press the like button, subscribe to Brown Spade. We're on 8 different platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Breaker, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Overcast, we're also on Pocket Cast, we're on Radio Public, we're on Spotify, and we're on Copy RSS. And now we're on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. I have my co-host with me today, Brother Cleveland.
What's going on, people?
I have my co-host with me. My guest, Brother Jay.
Hey man, glad to be back. Glad to be here. How y'all doing?
Man, you're doing good, brother. It's 2 things that I want. Well, today's topic is talking about our youth, power of influence, and I don't know. Is it just me? It just feel like something is going on with our youth that's not being addressed. And I think they're getting like let's say targeted on different levels. That's the way I would put it. So anyway, just hold on a second. Let me pull up something. Yeah. Okay. Now this what happened to the listeners. This is what happened a few days ago. I just want you to chime in on, just listen to it if you would, please.
13 and 14-year-old girls arrested for an armed carjacking. Boys, rather. This comes just days after that Uber Eats driver was killed in D.C. Those 2 teen girls are now facing murder charges. Fox 5's Maureen Umay is live in Southeast with more on what we're learning about the suspects. And Maureen, video of this particular carjacking went viral over the weekend.
It sure did. A lot of people watching it just horrified that something like this could happen. Moreover, that 2 teenage girls could be behind such a heinous crime. Look behind me here. You see some of the outpouring of support that the victim has received. Flowers left here by the gate. And then if you come this way, you'll see where the car actually ended up, knocking over this bike stand here on N Street and Van Street here in Southeast D.C. Again, this video of this crime just horrific to watch. We're going to show you a little portion of it, but again, just a warning, it is pretty tough.
She's still in their car. You're still in the car? Yeah, we called the cops. Call the cops. Call the cops.
The video has been viewed millions of times on Twitter alone. It shows Muhammad Anwar next to his car. The teen girls are inside, and you hear him say, "This is my car." And then the driver hits the gas as Anwar clings to the door. Moments later, you hear that horrifying sound of the crash. The man filming runs there. You see members of the National Guard then helping the girls from the car. Anwar is alone on the sidewalk after he was thrown from the vehicle. You can then hear one of the girls saying, "My phone is in there," as she tries to go back to the car. A DC police commander tells us the 2 teenage girls are just 13 and 15 years old.
We also know that at least one of them had participated in something very similar back in January where they were arrested for that as well. So it does seem like there is a pattern here. Our victim in this case, he has a loving family that are missing him dearly. And then on the other side of this, we have 2 young people that are facing very similar, very serious charges, and they're not even old enough to drive.
And that's just some of what went on a few days ago in the DC area. It's crazy. It's crazy. I saw the video again. I wasn't going to put it on there for the respect for the family of the man that lost his life. A 66-year-old man lost his life.
Right.
Because 2 teenage girls, basically tried to take his car, and he refused to get out of his car. Well, he tried to get back in his car, and they put the car in drive and accelerated, and the car lost control and seconds later, his life was just gone, just like that. Now he was just trying to do his job. He's a 66-year-old man,
Right.
Uber driver, and it's crazy out here. And I'm just blown away on how we have groups. You know, it's like we're being distracted by the wrong thing.
Mhm.
And I don't know, man. So let's take a dive in on this one, brother. So what's your take on it? Brother Jay.
Oh, hey, to my. Oh, okay. I thought you were throwing it to Cleve. You know, when you hear things like this, anything involving kids, before I look outside of myself, I always try to draw from personal experiences. Like when we grew up, the way we were taught, you know, y'all were considered my OGs, you know what I'm saying, my big brother and things like that. So when I say that, I start talking about like encouragers, you know. I also started thinking about how, you know, at particular points in my life, you know, and it was a lot of us, you guys coming before us, having certain experiences could have easily led us in one way or the other, right?
That is so true.
So when I see situations like this and start hearing that these girls were so young,
Right.
then I it's hard for me to, even though they physically committed the act, it's hard for me to believe that they acted alone. So I start to think about things like gang initiations, right?
Right.
Or,
That's what
or
I thought about
right.
too.
Yeah, or who is it that influences these little girls? Who do they look up to?
Right. Right.
And I think a lot of what they did, even though they actually carried the act out, has a lot to do with who they look up to and where they draw their inspiration from. And you can put it on so many things. You can put it on parenting. You can put it on social media. But you guys know, just like I do, once you leave that house, oftentimes you're influenced more by, or you spend more time at school, for example. So when you get home, parents have very, you know, while it's still very impactful, you still spend most of your time around other things outside of your parents. And those things tend to move you one way or the other. So it's definitely terrible what happened. Not only did this 66-year-old lose his life, but you have a 13 and a 15-year-old that stand to lose theirs, and both families are going to be impacted by this. So I you know, just my initial thoughts is that it's very terrible, you know, that this man lost his life, but how it's going to impact his family as well as those little girls and their families as well.
Right. What's your take on it, Brother Clay? We can't hear you, Clay. Okay, Brother Jay, we're gonna move forward until Cleve get connected.
Yeah, he has some technical difficulties. But what's your? I mean, did you kind of understand where I was coming from as well?
Yeah, I understand exactly. I understand exactly where you're coming from. But another thing, I don't know if you heard it, you missed it. That the police said that one of them was already in a carjacking previous in January.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he didn't say whether it was the 13 or the 15-year-old, right?
No. He didn't specify on. Okay. No, he didn't specify on which one was it.
Mm-hmm.
But and I've heard, again, I don't know because I'm not I don't live in a DC area.
Right.
They were saying that that's like, you know, this is what the youth do there. It's like
this the new thing, this the new trend.
Right. So
right.
Like, you know, like would this be like would this be more of an example to make them realize that this is not a game? You know, and the sad part is nobody, like you said about the OGs, there's nobody teaching them, the youth, about, you know, hey, this is an honest man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's out here trying to provide for his family.
Right.
Not only is he an honest man, he's your elder.
Yeah.
You know, this man old enough to be your grandfather.
Right. And you can tell that they saw him as an easy mark, right?
Oh, yeah. And if you saw the video, I don't know if you saw the video.
I did. I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw both teams when they got out and looked at him, they realized
Right.
real
Yeah,
quick.
Yeah,
And
like
one of them broke
yeah,
down crying instantly.
yeah.
You know? So
Because they know it's over. It's over.
yeah, they know.
Their life is
Mm-hmm. So those girls, man, it's unfortunate that they made those choices, and I don't know why they think that is a game to steal someone's car and to be so young. And I mean, and I know I sound again, I know I may sound like an old head, but girls just didn't get involved in stuff like that when we grew up, man.
Nah, not like that. Now, you know, we did have
fight each other, you know, something like that, but they're not stealing. We didn't have girls steal cars.
Nah. Now we had setup chicks.
Yeah,
they would set the stage, but it was always the guys who did the heavy lifting. Now you're starting to see that, you know, young girls and women are starting to do some of the heavy lifting, and you know, do a lot of the things that guys used to do when we were growing up.
Right. Yeah, so it is crazy. But I feel like the kids today, they're being attacked on several levels.
Yeah.
Of course, social media. I feel like the so-called music is being displayed.
Yeah.
And not just for these young women, for our young males too. It's like the music today is like, when you listen to them and you look at the image, it's all about you know, you got to be a gangster to be a rapper.
Yeah, you got to be you either got to be,
you're gonna be a gangster or you got to be a thot. There's no in between.
You got to brandish a pistol,
right?
Or some. Can we cuss? I don't want to cuss.
Yeah, you can curse.
You can brandish. You either brandishing a pistol or some ass cheeks.
Right.
Right. So one or the other.
Right. That's exactly where we at.
Yeah.
So it's like, where are these groups when it comes to our youth, because it's like there's nobody really paying this stuff any attention.
Not to that extent. The attention comes when there's loss of life, right?
Right.
And we know that, you know, when there's loss of life, there may be now the family continues to hurt, but as far as the outrage in these situations, especially in our community, after about a week or so, everything goes back to normal, except, you know, for those families.
Right.
Like that man's family won't be able to just pick up the pieces and go back to normal.
No.
Either the girls are going to have to stand trial for what they did. Now, and this is what I have noticed with, you know, the mentoring that I've done over the years. And like I said, I try to look at my own personal experience first before I look outside of myself. And as a youth, right? And I know a lot of these youth, some of the same things are being said. Right. And they're under the notion, right, that committing these heinous crimes by doing it at such a young age, that they'll get a slap on the wrist. Right. The thing about it is, once you take somebody's life, though, I think you automatically consider you know, committing a crime as an adult.
Yeah, it changes the whole dynamic. Absolutely.
Yeah, they won't be able to just sweep this one. This won't be a slap on the wrist.
Nah, not at all. And it's not gonna last long. It's gonna be clear and dry.
Yeah,
you will be charged as an adult.
Well, because also in the video, there was actually an opportunity, right? There was an opportunity for them to flee the scene well before they took off in the car. But so my thing is, what was the driver that was so strong, right? That it made them want to continue further, even though that there was a struggle. And that's why I said I think they looked at him because he was older.
Yeah,
they took as an easy target.
Mm-hmm.
But there was, I think the reason why the book is going to get thrown at these two girls, even if the 15-year-old influenced the 13-year-old, they were both still together.
Right.
And there was a moment, there was a point after watching the video when he said, "This is my car, this is my car," where they both could have fled. Right.
It was resistance. Got out and just ran. Guess what? He would have never ran after them. The man just wanted his vehicle so he could continue his routes.
That's it. When the fact that they continued, right? They continued that instead of fleeing, right? So they could have, you know, lived to steal another Uber car if that's what they wanted to do.
Right.
But they stayed. They continued to pursue that particular situation, and now somebody's dead. So now somebody has lost their life, and I'm pretty
Well,
sure they're
three
going to
lives lost.
in jail. Yeah.
3 lives been lost.
Yes.
One of them is permanently lost, and the other one they're gonna do time, and this is gonna stick with them the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So,
And I don't really know what the rules are, but in situations like this, there's a chance that they could also ask for the death penalty.
oh, absolutely. Clee, can you say something, Clee? Speak
Can you
up.
hear me now?
Yes.
Am I
I hear
good?
you.
Okay. Yeah, DC is DC is pretty strict on what they laws. So I want to see what's gonna come out of it. I hurt for the families because you know, especially not especially, but just for the kids, you know, who, you know, they don't even have a future.
Yeah.
You know, and for the older man who, you know, who was looking at these kids like, you know, these could be my grandkids. You know, why are they doing this? You know, and
Right.
my heart just go out to the family because, like y'all said, you know, growing up, we had girls that, you know, would fight and, you know, and get into some things, but this right here is on a whole nother level. And
On a whole nother level.
I've seen on television recently. I was just strolling through television, and I seen a show. I can't remember if it was BET or one of them shows, and it popped up in the show these young ladies who were considered to be drug lords or whatever.
Yeah.
And I clicked on it, I said, let me see if I know any, you know, any of the actors or whatever in it. I didn't know them. It was like one of them low budget movies. But it had, you know, showing how these girls was young,
Yeah.
you know, committing these crimes. Now they supposed to be big boss and big time, you know, drug lords and stuff like that. And I was just shaking my head like, this is crazy. I'm like, even though I know this happens, I'm like, I'm glad I've never seen it. And then something like this happened. You like, wow, imagine, you know, what if they would have got away with this, you know,
I mean,
what it would have led to.
I just think that again, it's they I just feel like with our youth again are being attacked on different levels
Yes.
as far as influence concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our politicians, I feel like they need to have that same energy. I feel like these groups, you know, that talk about the police brutality, they need to have that same energy
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to protecting our kids, because I feel like if there was any type of structure, some programs implemented into these areas, I think that it could have never got to that point. It would have never gotten to that point, in my opinion. I remember being young when I grew up in the projects in Atlanta called Perry Homes, and throughout all the projects had a program,
After school program.
No, PAL,
Okay.
Police
Okay.
Athletic Program.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And you would go to your recreation facility and there'll be a couple of officers there. You could sit in the room, do your homework. After you do your homework, you're up there playing. They had a league, you know, this projects will play that project according to age group, stuff like that. They took us on to games, basketball games, baseball games, things of that nature.
Try to socialize you.
It gave me some exposure that I wouldn't have ever had at that time because of the lack of resources that we had. And I mean, to this day, I still got my PAL card. I mean, I keep it, you know what I'm saying? Every time I keep it, I just look at it and smile. But those programs like that, even though the people are not interacting with you on a daily, on a personal level, but it helps. It helps. And I think collectively we have to get back into doing that, because again, we're losing them right now. They're getting younger and younger.
Yeah, and the programs, you know, like the YMCA, the Boys and Girl Club and stuff like that.
Some of them are kind of hard. I mean, back then, I don't know about now because, you know, but I know back then, like the YMCA, you know, it was all about fees, where the PAL, it didn't cost you anything.
It was free.
Yeah. So again, and they know that, you know, most urban kids are financially deprived anyway. So it's like, you're going to have to offer something free.
Yeah.
I mean, let some of your tax dollars go towards these kids so it can help them and show them other ways, other alternatives. that
So-
there is. Yeah, it's just to make them see something they never saw before. Because you okay, out of 20 or 50, you're gonna touch a few lives, believe it or not. You know.
Question for you. So for programs like that, do you know if those programs still exist, or was it a program where they pull funding? Because normally they'll pull funding on those programs.
I don't know, but I think I know they used to have. I think I heard somebody mention they had PAL, but I don't think they're. Well, it's hard for me to say because they got in Atlanta, they got rid of all the projects, so it's
That's
hard.
what I was gonna say. They don't have
It's hard for me to say if
those
it's
errors
implemented
anymore.
the same way because I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea at this point.
Like even if you look at it now, like what area is considered to be, predominant or urban, culture just
Because the
for
way
us.
Atlanta set up now is
Yeah.
all scattered
Yeah,
out.
it's scattered out, and they pushed everybody out of the city because most of the time you can get your funding in the city of Atlanta. You could get your funding there, but we're not in the cities no more. We're all on the outskirts.
But I'm just saying, my point that I'm making is that there has to be some action taking place in order to save these kids' lives. If not, man, it's gonna get worse. That's, to me, that's just a sample of what's going on because we haven't even experienced the 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old boys.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because that was the girls. Yeah,
right. So can you imagine what they doing? They're probably smoking weed, drinking, popping pills, definitely toting guns.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're getting a heavy to piggyback on what you're talking about here in Atlanta.
Yeah,
we're getting a huge dose.
Yeah,
of what we just seen there. And again, we haven't seen so there's a app, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about it. A friend of mine, told me about the app. And when you go on that app, you see a lot of different things that's not necessarily covered in the news called ATL Scoop. And on this app, right, you see a lot of the guys doing a lot of the things that those little girls did, steal cars and things like that. A lot of the youth right now here in Atlanta, a lot of these car break-ins, or 13, 14, 15. There you go.
Yeah.
They're doing that. They're stealing pistols and things like that. And like I say again, that there is some you know that they was put on this by somebody.
Yeah, some older. Yeah, somebody put them on this. This is what you got to do.
And you see, but on this particular scoop, Atlanta scoop, and again, some of these some of this stuff was happening when we was coming up, but not to this extent. No. The difference is though is people are able to pull these cell phones out and record in real time. That's a lot of these things that are happening. ATL Scoop, what you see more women doing is fighting. Like there's a lot of women out here fighting in malls and things like that. And there's a lot of our younger guys are shooting each other, breaking in cars, things like that. Right. And what you've noticed is they're using some of these women to drive some of these cars, right?
They are using
the scene. But like I said, it's not like these things don't happen. For example, you remember when we were young, it was excited to see the movie Set It Off.
Right.
Which was centered around all women, right?
Right. That is true.
Doing the job.
Particularly black women.
Yeah, right. Doing the crime that you would normally see men doing, right? And the way that they did it. So, women not as publicized as men have always kind of, similar to what Cleveland was saying. Now there's documentaries out about women who played major roles in some of these things. You just don't hear a lot of these stories, but women have played prominent roles in a lot of things happening, not only positively, but definitely negatively out here. You know what I'm saying? And to see what these young girls are doing now, I think that's similar things have always happened like this. Now we're just able to pull a cell phone out and capture these things. Because normally if they would have said it on the news without the video, it would have been easy to kind of say, no, that was probably a boys, or he must have said something to him. They did
what imagination wouldn't have been so vivid. It would have been,
kind of brushed under the rug, and we would have been under the impression that 66-year-old did something very disrespectful to cause that on himself. But watching that video, that man, and see, this is the thing about that video. For anybody to have to say to somebody else, "This is mine," they know it's yours.
Yeah.
Right. But that was him. That was him just trying to basically say, "Hey, whether you know it or not, this is my car.
This is my car.
In other
This
words,
is not your car.
Yeah, right. Hey, look, right. If you thought this Kia belonged to you, this the wrong car. This mine.
Right.
And like I said, there was an opportunity there for them young girls, and I wish they would have taken heed to that. But again, they're very young, and mentally that you can tell that they weren't all the way there. They were probably panicked. And like I said again, I wonder what the driver was. I wonder if they felt like something would have happened to him had they not carried that, carried that situation out. Right. But I wish they would have been smart enough or present enough to recognize, okay, there's resistance here.
We lost this one.
Yes, I wish they would have done that, man.
Time to retreat.
Yeah, I wish they would have had the wherewithal, to pull back and figure a different situation out. Because now, now, you got like Cleve said earlier, you have the 66-year-old who's lost their life, and like you said, there's 3 lives that are lost, but also the families are going to have to be grieving about this situation long after everybody else has moved on with their lives.
And this is a great opportunity for the community in that area, because I'm pretty sure they're from that, they live in that city. Mm-hmm. For them to come together and say, look, we got to do something about this. Right. We need to learn from what just happened. Yeah. And we need to, take a look at our youth and understand that, hey, this is a problem, because like I said, it's showing up. They're doing this a lot in DC. Right. How they're doing this a lot in Atlanta.
That's what I'm saying.
When they came here for the
NBA
All-Star, man, I seen on social media where cars was sitting on bricks. They didn't stole rims and and bust out, but things is not like you said. People, the news, a lot of stuff don't make the news because of the light that it shines on Atlanta. But it was a lot of things that went down.
All because of the politics that plays, because they don't want to have the stigma that there's so much crime going on. It's like they're sweeping a lot of things up under the rug instead of addressing them.
Because of the money that's coming into the city. The bottom line is money.
Right. Because
if we keep promoting these things, if we promote all the things that are happening in this city, we're gonna lose tourist dollars.
So this is where those mega churches and all that's in DC should come together as a community. All of the businesses in DC need to come together and come as a community. Yeah, all of the politicians in DC need to come together as a community and say, look, let's do something about this. The police, like all that, all of these things, all of these people can learn from this and try to make light on our youth, because they need us. I mean, they really do. It's sad. I was heartbroken to hear, and I know, if it was guys, we'd be like, man, that's messed up. But to hear our young ladies, they're not out here, wearing puppy dog tails.
Here's the thing, But here's the thing, though, y'all, check this one out. They the ones just got caught.
Yes.
They're not the only 2 girls in that neighborhood running around. No. So there is a problem. That's what I'm saying. There is a serious problem going on that need to be addressed. And it is DC and all these little urban areas right now, because it really, when you think about it, there's nothing for them to do. They have nothing. They have no outlet, nothing to do.
No, because it's nothing out here to where like program, like we had programs growing up. We had
everything is around money. Everything's getting around money. That is a program.
We had all types of programs that that coaches and stuff that took you up under their wing and take that energy you got. You want to fight, you want to hit somebody, okay, go drip, go play basketball, get on the court and get physical, get on the football field, do cheerleading. You know what I'm saying? It was just different things that we had that helped that energy that we had. We can use it as a positive, something positive.
Okay, well, I'm about to switch gears for a quick slight minute. Still talking about our youth.
Yeah.
Okay, on Monday, Nike filed a lawsuit on trademark infringement with this company called Mischief. Mischief made these, they like a 666 Nikes they bought, and they put their little, extra little creativity on it.
Mhm.
And supposed to be a little specks of blood inside the little bubble thing, some crazy crap.
Like a devil edition, right?
Yeah, they call it a what do they call it? Devil edition. I know it was 666. Yeah, I think it is the devil edition.
Mhm.
And with this video going viral, with the artist Nas X. Man, I tell you can't make this stuff up.
Satan shoes is what they call it. Satan shoes.
Yeah, Satan. That's what it is.
Satan shoes.
Yeah, Satan shoes. 666, the Satan shoes. And so all of this was promoted because he had this video out that went viral.
Mhm.
He's dressed up like, some type of basically he's seducing the devil.
Yeah.
So he comes sliding down to the pole of hell and get the twerking and all kind of crazy crap.
They twerking in hell?
You can't make this shit up, man.
They twerking in hell?
Nah, but Lil Nas X, man, he's the more money he's made, the more popular he's getting.
Right.
The more out and unapologetic he's been about.
He's becoming.
Right.
And what I realized, so I said at first I was like, I'm not gonna, listen to this shit, I said, but okay, but if I'm gonna talk about it, I have to listen to it.
Yeah, do a little research.
I listened to that song. I watched the video, and I said, let me just sit back. First of all, take him out of the rap category.
Yeah.
That's not rap.
That's not rap.
It has nothing to do with his sexuality. He's a 21-year-old man. He can do what he want to do.
Yeah.
We got that.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. I'm not a fan of it, but that's what you want to do. Fine, so be it. But I'm just sitting up here like, dude, why is it that we are the fucking drum majors of all the bullshit?
Yeah, bro. I'm telling
Why is it? I just had to ask myself that. I said, hold up. I said, first of all, this is not rap. Now watch that shit gonna hit the charts. It's already gonna hit the charts.
Oh, yeah.
And this man gonna be placed in the rap category, and there was no sign of rap in that song. Period.
Nah.
Period. Now pop, there it is. But my thing is right now, it's like, yo, this man trying to date this. It's like we are the drum major for the bullshit.
Yeah, man.
We are the drum major for we are the ratchet of the ratchet.
Yeah,
Why? And that's the part where, okay, you and your choices, your alternative lifestyle. That's you. But also you gotta also ask yourself too, like, yo, like I'm influencing somebody. And everybody be 21 years of age that I'm influencing. You see what I'm saying? Like he has to be honest with himself at some point.
He said he didn't care. He responded.
Yeah, he did.
He said he didn't care.
Yeah, he did.
It wasn't his. He's
parents. That's what he's something.
There you go. There you go. He said in the song Old Town Road, I was talking about lean and something else. He said, y'all let y'all kids listen to that.
Right.
And like I say, which says he's not taking any responsibility. He said, I'm grown. I made this music for people my age. You let your kid listen to it. You let your kid listen to it. So he's not taking any responsibility for it at all.
And that's why I say that also that along comes with freedom is responsibility. Like to me, in my opinion, just looking at the way this thing is being laid out in our country, too much freedom is bad.
Yeah.
Because the more you have to be responsible.
Yeah, it's mishandled.
And accountable. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be responsible and accountable for that freedom. And you also have to realize, and that's why I say that we're targeted. I feel like our youth is being targeted because, again, you look at every other genre of music, man. You don't see nothing like that, man. I haven't seen they got the little R&B, they got the R&B Asian group. You know,
Yeah.
they talented, they can sing.
Like 8 of
but
them, like 8 of them in the group.
I have not seen their Nas X.
Right.
So let me
You see
let
what
me
I'm
say
saying?
this. Let me say this.
Yeah,
Back when heavy metal was out, it was deep, and heavy metal was on that satanic, you know,
still
Satan
right.
and all that stuff. But I can't remember the lady name, but she went to Congress and she complained about it because their kids was in like crazy numbers ODing on, you know, on drugs
Right.
and all types of things because of heavy metal. And they changed, you know, the format of heavy metal, and they kind of did away with it.
Right.
But we influenced everybody. We influenced the whole world.
Like-
I remember we was in Barcelona, and I'm walking down the street, and I come to a store, and the store says Brooklyn, right? I said it can't be the same Brooklyn, you know, like New York. Go up in there, it's us. They got Run DMC. I mean, they had Big Daddy Kane. They had all our music up in there, and nobody in the store. Everybody, it was packed. The store was packed, but it was none of us in there buying albums and our music. We influence the world with our music, and they know that. So they know that by using this young man to do this, because he didn't just think of this on his own. He didn't just come up with it and say, you know what, I should no.
But I mean, I'm not trying to get sidetracked, but I'm just gonna respond to that what you just said. But the thing of that is, Cleve, is like you were saying, even though we have an influence, but at the same time, every other ethnic group, they know that it's entertainment.
Yeah.
But for some reason, our youth can't separate that because they feel like that is real. And now, because if you look at it for this last 2 years, these people, these young guys been getting killed. These rappers been getting killed. Yeah. They're not even talking about that. But everybody got to be the gangster. I'm gonna show that I'm real. So I got to be in a gang. This is about to be this thing is gonna snowball. It already has snowball, but that's the influence now. You got to be in a gang, and these guys are getting deals. They getting deals. They're able to flash guns and stuff on these media sites. That stuff shouldn't even be promoted.
But they setting them up because
they setting us up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They setting them up and us up, yes. Yeah. But they're doing this because they know that it's a domino effect. He's pulling out a gun. I'm gonna pull out a gun. They're gonna pull out a gun. Right. Look, they don't even have to do investigation on people committing murders and stuff. All they gotta do, if a dude gonna be a rapper, he gonna rap about it. And that's how they locking a lot of these dudes up. These dudes is actually telling on themselves in their music. But they actually telling on themselves in their music.
But what it is though, it is a magnet to our youth. It's making our youth want to be a part of, like our youth. Like, okay, I gotta be in a gang to feel like I'm somebody. You know, if you know, Lil Wayne say it, that's what it is. That's what it is. If Gucci Man say what it is, that's what it is. I mean, and so they don't understand the power of the influence, and that has to be mentioned. That has to be brought up at some point of accountability. As Chuck, you know what I'm saying, as Jay said, you know, accountability. Right. Because they know exactly what if it was targeting their kids, it wouldn't touch the radio. It wouldn't
and that was my point when I was talking about heavy metal. That was my point of talking about heavy metal back in the days, how it was affecting their kids.
Right. And these so-called artists that's out here making, I'm talking about the ones making the big bucks.
Right.
You know, they kids gonna be going to freaking private school. They're gonna be getting the best school. They're not gonna everything that their mom or dad, whoever call themselves the entertainer, their kids not even gonna experience that stuff. In most cases, unless they just, you know, we do have a couple of artists that just
having babies in the
hood. But for the most part, they should be getting the best school a much better education. They're in a better position. Where you got some kids, when they turn that TV on, they taking it for face value for what it is. And then that's the part that it saddens me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Daniel, you mentioned it earlier in the show. Both of y'all touched on it. But again, this is me. I like to, draw from my own experiences, things that influence me, and I have a better idea on what the youth may be going through.
Right.
So I think about, when crack was put in our neighborhoods.
Right.
That's still happening, right? Despite that, you know what I'm saying? As blacks, we've still been able to climb out a lot of these holes and become very successful despite that.
And some still suffering from it, but continue.
Some still suffer from, yeah. So then you have the music. So you remember at one point in time, the music, while, even a lot of the music we grew up on, we kind of grew up on Booty Shake for the most part.
Right.
But we still had some real ones out here that made music, but bass music. I just say bass, I don't want to say Booty Shake.
Bass was the most popular music at the time in that region. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you or Cleve, one of y'all mentioned it earlier, and we were talking about the distractions and things like that. And I really do. When I was younger, our parents and and other elders around us, they talked to us about being kings, queens, all these things. Outside of that, we still, got down and did our own things outside of, what we may have thought or what would have been in alignment with what a queen or a king did, right? We was young, we wanted to hang out, do whatever the case may be.
Right.
I really do believe, right, more and more as I get older, in the information coming out about, being kings, being queens and things like that.
Right.
And all this music, right? With the shoe, the slide down the pole, like you said again, if it ain't ass cheeks or pistols,
right,
we ain't really selling no music in our community. And it's like the only way you can get a deal is if you're promoting or pushing that. Right. There's very few artists that are able to slip through. With that, you got Kendrick Lamar, you got J. Cole, you got a few of those artists. But when you think about all the artists out here, that major artists that's selling, they're either selling violence, right, some form of prostitution.
Yeah, she's a stripper / prostitute. I mean,
and check this out. Those are some of the biggest artists. Yeah, not just in hip hop, but those are some of the biggest artists in the world that promote that, right?
And the labels are pushing it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, that's who is pushing it.
Right. So it goes back to your initial question about like what's going on with our youth. The youth, right? They signing these contracts because a lot of them are coming from very terrible situations. Right. So they're signing these quick contracts, they're locked into these contracts. But just like crack cocaine, it's another, to me, the music is another form of crack cocaine. Because the thing about it is most of the music that we hear, especially in our neighborhoods, hip-hop is actually the most popular genre of music, right? In the world. Right?
It is.
So, and a lot of people don't know this, y'all may know this. The reason why it's so popular, right, is because of the demand on the music. And the folks that's demanding this type of music is our youth.
Right.
Our youth dictates the songs that are played on the radio, which is why when some of us get older, we tend not to listen to the radio as much as we used to, right? But I think it's a continuation of crack, right? It's another form of crack cocaine because these things continue to keep us distracted, right, from what's actually happening. Again, the protests, once they do the protests, the murder, the police killing, so many of us in our communities. Once those things start going into court, they kind of die down, right? And whatever the real plan is, which is I think is to to kind of distract and destroy us, because we talked about what the demasculation of the black male and things like that a few shows ago. Right. I think all of this is tied in, right? They have some information about us, who we are as a people, that we don't know, that we aren't aware of. And there's somebody, the powers that be, want to make sure that we don't understand how important we are to this, right? And the only way we can do that is to keep distracting us and poisoning us with cracks in our communities, with some of this music that we're listening to,
Right.
continuing to kill us on national TV so that we can cower down because we don't want it to happen to us or our families. I think
Right.
all of it is tied together. So this shoe thing with Lil Nas X, to me, is just a continuation in all that BS that we've been dealing with for so long.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And he's I mean, he's just gonna keep on making money. And the thing is, he sold out of them shoes. I think
Yeah.
he sold
In 1 hour.
660.
In 1 hour.
That
60
right there,
shoes in 1 hour.
that lets you know where
Over $1,000 bucks.
where our mindset is. So knowing that our mindset in our youth is to go out here and buy a shoe that's
Representing Satan.
666. That's $1,000.
Right.
When the average man only makes $42,000 a year,
Right.
is insane. That's insane.
And back
That's
to what
insane.
Khalees said, where is the, and again, I'm not trying to call nobody out, but the Christian group should be the religious groups. If you got kids, they should be outraged.
Where is Black Lives Matter?
I agree.
I mean, you about to lose 3 Black lives.
Yeah.
Well, you lost 1 and you're about to lose 2 more. Where's Black Lives Matter at? And these are our young ladies. The women who are over Black Lives Matter, they should definitely step up and say, look, we got to do something for for this community. We got to do something. Al Sharpton, we got to do something. Like all of these people that Stacey Abrams, we got to do something. Like all of these people that are
those same people push those that word the hell out of us, calling our phones without our permission about voting. Where are they?
Then we're not gonna even get on the fact that our young ladies is getting snatched up daily.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother. That's a whole
and
nother topic.
that's been ongoing for a long time. Like I said, all
yes,
stuff is tied in together, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's a business.
Yes,
it's a business, and we the product.
Yeah, because of the influence that we have, they know that they can use African American culture. And what happens is you'll get some people to push back and be like, "It ain't our culture." You know, whatever was already here, right? We made it our own. Right. So I've heard some pushback like hip hop culture ain't even black. No, we took what was already here,
right,
and made it our own, right? And that was with everything because one, we didn't ask to be here,
right.
The thing about it is a lot of us were born here though, so it's our home, right? It's our home. So you got people say go back to where you came. I was born right here.
Right.
Yeah. This is our nationality. Yeah.
Yeah. So where I'm going. So the thing about it is our history, throughout our history, we've always made lemonade out of lemons, right?
Shitlins out of shitlins.
It winds up right. But what like you said earlier, a lot of us wind up getting caught up and suffering and wind up dying, even though that there's some progression in certain pockets in certain areas in our community.
Right.
We still lose so many of us to things like what those young girls did in the carjacking. And like I say, Lil Nas X, he'll be cool. He'll take care of his family and he'll do whatever he can.
Yeah.
But the amount of people that
as a whole, as a
never make it.
Group.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But like I say again, they know that.
Right.
They know that. And the thing about it is, even if they can keep the artists distracted on, they just hating on you because you made it, you making money, right? Then they'll never look at like I'm hurting my community,
right?
Because they're gonna convince you that they hating on you because it's about your money. They're never gonna say, man, the reason why they got an issue with you is because this group of boys listened to that song, right? And glorifying selling dope and robbing his house, and they did that. Right. Your music is killing people. Your music is encouraging young people, right? That brain is still developing. You are encouraging youth to go out here. No, you didn't make them do anything, but you are encouraging them and making light of situations. Yeah,
right. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Sad.
I totally agree.
Sad. I know. I just hope. I just hope the community steps up and do something about what happened in DC. Because it's sad to see them young girls, and then on the flip side is something is mentally going on with these young girls too. For them to,
These
you
young
know,
boys. too.
yeah.
And-
So
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cleese.
no, I was gonna say. So I definitely think that, like, we got to get programs in our community to where we're dealing with these issues that these kids go through. I mean, we got to get some programs in there. Congress, I mean, our politicians. See, this is where it's important. To that voting that everyone does, and that standing and protesting and stuff. This is where it matters. When things like this happen. Now we need to get our politicians up in there. We need to get our police force up in there, to take a look at, what's going on. Because if these two young ladies did this, of course, it's more. You need to find out what's going on.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And at the root of a lot of these things going on, man, is hurt people, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? People out here doing heinous. You ever heard somebody say, "No, I'm fine, I'm happy," and outside of that, everything they said was negative and destructive.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, nah, you're not really happy. You know what I'm saying? You ain't said nothing nice.
Right.
And then you're trying to convince people that you're happy. Hurt people, man. What those two little girls did had nothing to do with love. Right.
Right. Absolutely.
A lot of the sliding down the pole, the 666, right? Anything, if you know anything about Satan, and you don't have to be a religious person, right?
Right.
If you know anything about Satan, he wasn't somebody who wanted to see you prosper unless it was in his best interest, right?
Right.
Hurt people, man. So when we see people out here doing some of these dangerous, heinous crimes, like putting a knee on the back of somebody's neck in the way that happened, right? A lot of the other people that fly, hurt people, right? And we see it all the time. So what Cleveland was saying, communities as a whole, we got to start wrapping our arms around each other and definitely our kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can see that you can see the results of a lack of that.
Yes, absolutely. It's the lack of self-love.
Yes.
It's the lack of having respect for your fellow man and woman.
Yes.
And that's why I say, we're some of us be talking about this king and queen stuff, but if you're not really sincere, it's just words.
It's just words. It's
just words. So I don't even get caught into the king and queen stuff because
and it got to be more than just
just words. My whole thing is about respect as a human being.
There you go. Yeah. It has, king and queen has to.
I'm not calling nobody no king, and I ain't calling nobody no queen. To each his own. But I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I say, everybody not of royalty, but we all royal in a special way.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are creatures of the Creator.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody is not. I mean, just the whole concept. It just
it was bad. It was also bad.
People, but let's just be more friendlier, be more courteous. Treat people
nice.
much better,
more respect. Yeah,
motherfuckers fighting out the damn drive-through at Wendy's, all kind of crazy. It's just bullshit, man. It's like, come on, y'all. We got to do better than this shit. Y'all up here going crazy about what, burgers and fries. Come on, man.
I'll try that, right.
And when you could go down the street and get that same chicken sandwich in a shorter line, and
right? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, be ready to go all out, man, about a fucking combo, about a sandwich.
Yeah, about a sandwich.
I mean, people were going crazy, but we so distracted, man. We so easily distracted, man. We gotta come up out of this shit, bro.
And we take so many things. We take so many things personal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by like working in corporate America, man, I learned that because I would have been gone a long time ago. I spent 20 years in corporate America, but if I didn't catch it, my first few years I had gold teeth in my mouth, right?
Right.
But what I had to realize was every time somebody said something to you that you may not have liked wasn't personal,
Right.
right? It's not always personal because somebody said something you disagree with,
Right.
right?
Right. Fact.
And the thing about it is we don't grant enough grace. Now, I'm not just saying full blunt disrespect, but we don't grant enough grace. Right? Somebody make a mistake and bump you. Y'all know how he was. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to.
We ready to go.
Yeah,
you know,
we ready to go. But nowadays, you know, the grace of
a normal thing. Like somebody can accidentally bump into you.
And like I said, I keep going back to that and the compassion and things. Basically to say this. You even had criminals out here that while they was out here committing crimes, still had a certain level of respect for individuals, right?
Code of conduct, what it's called.
In that situation, man, like it just keeps bothering me that we have two young black women, two young black girls,
yes,
that didn't have the wherewithal, even after given an opportunity. I watched that video and I saw that there was opportunities. Multiple opportunities.
Yeah, for them to get the hell up out of there.
For them to get up out of there.
Guess what? He wouldn't even call, that man wouldn't even call the police on them. He just wanted his car. He would never even call the cops on them. But
it's bothering me because that situation didn't work. Right. One of them, they said, had already been known for, had tried this before.
Right.
But this situation didn't work. Right. Didn't have enough sense to say, okay, we getting resistance here. The man came back to his car too early. Whatever the case was,
right.
Let's dip. Let's dip. And as a result of that, you know what I'm saying? Like this wouldn't even really be a story, but now a man has lost his life, and so did those two little girls. So and like I said, it's bothering me. That's why I keep kind of going back to it. We talking about youth, but all these things that we talked about, you know, it just keeps bothering me because, like I said again, the 15 and 13, that's learned behavior, right? Whether they learned it on internet, and it was learned behavior, and it was encouraged by somebody. Right? I don't know if it was mama, daddy, auntie, homegirl, you think your big sister in the neighborhood. I don't know where that influence came from, but somebody had to talk you through some of this stuff, right? Your influences came from somewhere. You're 15 and you're 13. You got your influence. You looking up to somebody that's encouraging this behavior, and as a result, they still somewhere cool. They kicking it, right? Grooming the next few
to do the same
thing, and that's what I think is more dangerous than those two robbing that guy. Is the influencer in the situation?
I agree.
Right. And the Lil Nas X situation too, right? While he doesn't believe he has a responsibility, he absolutely does. A lot of these people are the reason why you making money, why you rich, right?
But what we have to understand is, as adults, in which he's a young adult. He's 21 years old. He has to understand that as adults, it's a collective effort.
It definitely is.
That's the part he don't understand. He thinking, hey, I don't have any kids. That's not my responsibility. That's the way he's looking at it. He's not looking at it from, you know what, somebody admire me. From my first hit, they still watching me. And we
have to look out for each other, because let's say if he's out somewhere and someone was to run up to him and rob him and shoot him, he wouldn't want a man look at him and turn their back and say, you know what, that's none of my business. I have nothing to do with that. I'm gonna keep it walking. He's gonna want a person to look and say, you know what, that's a young man. Let me get him some help, or let me call the police. Let me step in, you know what I'm saying, and make sure he's okay. That's what he's not realizing. Like, you know, you don't know these kids, but your work and what you putting out, you impact people.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like that. That's why I don't like people in that position. He's not wrong by saying, hey, you know, parenting is also important in this situation. But this is my thing. He's a black male, right? Regardless on what he's choosing to do, right? Who he chooses to spend his private time with,
right?
Black male, right? And this is my thing. We also know that in our community currently that the black family is broken, right? We're struggling,
very broken.
Both of these families, the head of household are women. and not just women, most of them is grandmama, right? Because
Right.
mama, in a lot of, not every, but in a lot of these households, mama's still out here, you know, trying to kick it, do her thing. So grandparents are really raised, and grandmamas are, because granddaddy, you know, they didn't grind him into the ground. So I don't even know if granddaddy's still around.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He
yeah,
gone.
to act like you're putting this music out and it's going into the homes of it's going into stable black homes, black families, right?
Mhm.
To act like that, I have a problem with that. And that's just from a human perspective.
Right.
Like to make that statement, hey, it's your parents. His handlers, though, his
Right.
handlers,
His PR people supposed to be like, hey,
Yeah,
They-
like no, you can't say
Yeah.
that. You shouldn't
don't-
say that.
you should
Right.
say, right? But why? Because this is why.
But that lets you know they're not in this corner.
No, well, they're in the corner of money. So you know,
Right.
he put a children's book out.
Or children.
He put a children's book out.
wow.
Yeah. So see, this is my thing. So he kind of contradicts himself, and I have a problem with that just from a human perspective. So on one end, you know that Old Town Road, you know that the biggest reason why that song did what it did was because kids were demanding that their parents let me hear this song by this do whatever. It was pushed forward.
And we was all supporting him because we was like, he's crossing into the countryside.
Barrier.
Yeah.
Right.
But now that he's made his money, he'll break down to you. Oh, I was talking about lean and stuff in this song. That's on y'all.
Yeah.
That's on one end. Then he'll say, I'm grown. I make music for grown folks. Okay. But you know your audience consists of a lot of children. So you write a children's book because you're still trying to capitalize off the fact that you know you are an influencer of children.
Right.
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 And then you put out some Satan shoes and slide down the pole and twerk.
right.
He all over the place.
When you also know that a lot of these kids, because he's not that old, you know how we did it, and we didn't even have access to this much stuff. So these cell phones, you know that because you influence a lot of these kids, that they're going to get somebody's cell phone, or iPad, or Android pad, or tablet, or phone, and
Or
they're
they
going
don't get shoes that look just like those shoes just because it was only 666 of them.
yeah, right.
And people are gonna they're gonna knock you over the head over those shoes.
Of course, because like I said again, we've seen it before. We just didn't have these cameras.
Right.
You remember starter jackets? You
Yeah.
remember that Wayne Gretzky? I had the Wayne Gretzky, but I stole that, right? But you remember Jordans.
Yeah,
Jordan still to this day is causing,
people
to go crazy.
will kill you over them Jordans.
Yeah. So to act like I ain't got nothing to do with that. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You do,
do.
man.
We
You
all-
do because
we-
people
we all-
want
I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see what the so-called rap community gonna say. If any of the top, rappers say,
No,
talk
they're
to
not.
us.
They're not.
But they should, and they should.
But they're not. Let me tell you why. Because we're at the point now where it's this cancel culture, and people do not want to say anything because
that's
they're
sad.
afraid
And that's sad.
it's going to tarnish
And
their
that's sad.
brand.
Because
and-
you can have
You
a
can't
man.
speak up.
You can
But
have
I'm
a
just saying
man.
that you can't speak up, which is crazy. So you talking about this is supposed to be freedom of speech. If he's able to say what he stands for, why I can't say what I stand for? What's the difference? You see what I'm saying?
even though it's at the expense of youth that look just like you.
And this is the crazy thing. You have a man right now who's in the news who is basically talking about relationship, talking about family, talking about how we can come together and try to understand. And they giving this man hell. And here it is. This man does this, and we say nothing.
What?
We
Yeah,
say
they wanna-
Where
nothing.
we are now.
Is that not backwards?
Yeah.
Well, right now we're in a space. We're in a space in America. We're in a space where abnormal is normal, and normal is abnormal.
Yes.
That's where we are right now.
Yes.
And if you speak up on how you feel, then you could lose your job, depending on your job, your brand. If you're somebody that's in some popularity stuff. So people are afraid to say anything. Just the other day, that woman just lost her job on the talk. I forget her name, but anyway.
Yes.
It was something about, the guy was her friend.
The Osborne.
Yeah, the
I forget her
Osborne. Yeah.
name.
So they get mad at her because the other guy's her friend. I mean, it's all kind of crazy stuff, man. Like that's her friend, but and let me say this too, but why it's fresh on my mind. I just feel like we as a black people, we gotta stop being so damn sensitive too.
Yeah, man.
Like seriously.
Like some things ain't worth us fighting.
It's okay. It's people are not gonna like everything about you, and you have to accept that. People might not like me because I'm black. People might not like me because I'm tall.
Yeah,
that doesn't bother me. Because I'm comfortable with who I am.
right.
So we have to. They get mad at this woman because what another person said, and they say that's her friend. Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
This is what this lady they tell. Well, that's your friend, and how can you be friends with a racist? I mean, do we realize how many people that don't like us that work with us?
Man, listen, if we was to actually go down that road and not support everything that we think is racist, we'd be walking around here butt naked. I promise you, we would.
Matter of fact,
you won't have.
You'll be hungry. You'll be hungry.
You'd be hungry and butt naked. I mean, you would.
Because guess what? You don't know, the person at Kroger might can't stand your fucking guts.
Right.
But you going up in there, the person at Walmart, don't like you because you're a shade too brown.
Yeah.
But you're still walking your tail up in there. So we gotta listen, man. Listen.
Yeah.
We gotta stop walking around being that we overly sensitive. And I get it. I get it. We've been
but overly sensitive over things that does not help our community.
But we got to overcome that, though.
Yeah, things that does not help our community, we just don't. We don't fight for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, we are past the hour, and y'all know we could do this forever.
Yes, all day.
So, Brother Jay.
Yeah.
We always have last words, food for thought. In closing, what you want to say, brother?
Yeah, I just want to say, I always appreciate, chopping it up with y'all, you two brothers, and I appreciate you for having me on your platform again. And I just want to say to the people that's out here, if you're out here, you're paying attention to this voting law that Kemp just wrote into law. Looked like he was at a wedding. He had 4 guys on each side of him while he signed this voting law into law. But the thing about it is, one, it's ridiculous, and I just wanted to say that there's going to be a lot of different boycotts and things like that coming out in reference to this, and I just want to encourage people to be a part of it, be a part of some of these things to make sure that their voices is heard in reference to how ridiculous you think this thing is. There's one piece in this law that's stating that no water or snacks can no longer be had in these lines while you're voting. They got that petty, right? And I just think that it's absolutely ridiculous. Again, if you're paying attention, once these protests and stuff start coming out, or if they're boycotting one spot or another, some of these spots may be some of your favorite spots to go to, but if you can boycott it for a day or two just to make your voices heard, I'm just going to encourage you to do that.
Gotcha. What you got, Brother Clay?
All right. I want to say, those who listening, you tune it in, hit that like button, share it, and subscribe, please, because we need more, platforms like this, to talk about what's going on in our community. I just want to say, my heart goes out to, both families, in the situation with the girls. The
3 families.
Yeah, three. Yeah, 3 families. The 2 girls and the older gentleman. I mean, and it's crazy because you have 2 totally different age groups. That basically, one, the youth did not respect the older, generation, and it blows my mind. But I just want to say we gotta get together. Our community gotta come together on a situation like this. This is when we gotta come together. When it's us, we gotta come together. and we got to try to find out where we went wrong with our youth.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, not just for the 15th anniversary at the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to come together for more than just the 20th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
We got to come together for things like this. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I just want to say that whether you're famous or not famous, we all have a responsibility, and we all should hold ourselves accountable. We all should try to be more productive citizens in this society. We definitely should be examples for the youth, if nothing else. And on that note, peace.
Peace.
Peace.